Welcome to this fourth session of the Maximum Happiness course on human needs. In session 2, we explored 10 steps of happiness, 10 areas that, when fulfilled to our satisfaction, bring increased happiness into our lives. What we're talking about in this session are our human needs. Each of us is motivated by needs. Our most basic needs are inborn, having evolved over tens of thousands of years. In the 1950s, a respected psychologist, Abraham Maslow, developed what has become known as the hierarchy of needs. His work in this area has become the most respected and forms the basis of all analysis of human needs and fulfillment in life. A short video and simple diagram depicts the original hierarchy of needs. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a theory of psychology. It argues that there are 5 stages of human needs that motivate our behaviour. Maslow proposed this theory in 1943 after studying exemplary people such as Albert Einstein and Eleanor Roosevelt. First, there are the physiological needs, such as the need to breathe, eat, drink or sleep. The moment we get enough of that and we feel awake and our bellies are full, we get motivated by the next thing. Now we want safety. We try to earn money, build up resources and look for shelter to protect us against dangers. Once we are satisfied, we feel safe, we have time to think about what we want next. At stage 3, we seek love and belonging. We desire to be close to family and friends, belong to a society or join a gang. But the moment we feel completely part of a group, we already wish to be a little different from the rest. At stage 4, we look for esteem, self-confidence and respect from our peers. We want to be someone. If we have money, we buy a fancy watch. If we have a creative brain, we write or think or work a lot. Motivation to compete and perform is now at its highest. Students, sportsmen and inventors strive to excel. Neil Armstrong even flew to the moon. Only if we breathe and drink and eat and sleep enough and we feel safe and feel part of a group and still special, only then can we reach level 5, self-actualization. Now we can relax, be creative, accept facts for what they are, give back or do whatever we want. No more pressure, unless of course there is trouble down below. If you are a leader of a family or at work and you believe in this theory, use it. First, make sure everyone has eaten well. Then make them feel safe and help them belong to a group. Once they feel they belong, they are ready to stand out and excel. Maslow's hierarchy of needs states that we must satisfy each need in turn, starting with the basic physiological needs of food, water, shelter, air to breathe, sleep, clothing and sex at the base of the pyramid, without which the others above it would be meaningless. The first level deals with the most obvious needs for survival itself. Only when the lower order of needs of physical and emotional well-being are satisfied do we become concerned with the higher order needs of influence and personal development. If the things that satisfy our lower order needs are swept away, we are no longer concerned about the maintenance of our higher order needs. It follows that a fully self-actualized human being that has satisfied all 5 levels of need will display rare characteristics. Maslow's groundbreaking work enables us to summarize the characteristics we would expect to see. They certainly seem to paint the picture of someone blissfully happy with their life, as you can see from the following self-actualized characteristics. Number 1, they display a keen sense of reality, aware of real situations, objective in their judgment rather than subjective. Number 2, they see problems in terms of challenges and situations requiring solutions rather than as personal complaints or excuses. Number 3, they have need of privacy and feel comfortable being alone. 4, they're reliant on their own experiences and judgment. They are independent and not reliant on culture and the environment to form opinions and views. 5, they are not susceptible to social pressures. They are non-conformist. 6, they're democratic, fair and non-discriminating, embracing and enjoying all cultures, races and individual styles. 7, they are socially compassionate, possessing a sense of humanity. 8, they are accepting and not trying to change other people. 9, they are comfortable with themselves, despite any unconventional tendencies. 10, they have a few close, intimate friends rather than many on-the-surface relationships. 11, their sense of humour is directed at themselves or the human condition rather than at the expense of others. 12, they're spontaneous and natural. They're true to themselves rather than being how other people want them to be. 13, they're excited and interested in everything, even ordinary things. 14, they're creative, inventive and original. And 15, they seek peak experiences that leave a lasting impression. Now, whilst money doesn't appear directly in any of the levels, it's clearly a factor in acquiring many of the Maslow needs. We'll now move on to explore the key needs that are most distinctly connected to our happiness in life. All human beings experience similar problems and challenges in life that develop the drive to satisfy certain of the human needs. These needs are common to areas such as work, self-appraisal, social activity, and of course, friendships and romantic relationships. Of all the needs Maslow and others have identified, let's expand on 5 that we must consistently satisfy to feel balanced, fulfilled and happy. 1. Certainty, safety and comfort. These needs are at level 2 on the Maslow hierarchy. For most people, certainty in life, in our finances, careers, relationships, health, friendships and social lives is a prerequisite for happiness. We all need a degree of certainty that our houses will not be repossessed, that we can avoid the pain and gain more pleasure from our relationships, that our careers will sustain and fulfill us. The secret lies in getting the right balance in life between certainty and spontaneity. Too much certainty in any area of life, when events become completely predictable, can result in boredom. So whilst we strive for absolute certainty in every area of life, if we eventually get it, little wonder we feel dissatisfied. The injection of a little variety, spontaneous behaviour, surprise and challenge helps us to feel more fully alive and experience greater fulfilment. Likewise, too much variety or spontaneity and we become fearful of losing that element of certainty for everything that we need. It requires a delicate balance to be achieved in the key areas of life for us to feel truly fulfilled. We need both certainty and variety for us to appreciate both. Number 2, self-worth. This is a level 3 Maslow need, but it's also affected by other level needs. We all have a need for high self-worth, to feel significant in our lives. We all want to feel that we're special, that our lives have a real sense of unique purpose and meaning. There are real ways to achieve this through creativity and self-awareness. Others choose more destructive, manufactured routes, developing extreme problems related to health, confidence or self-esteem to gain the caring attention of others. This is a victim mentality. This is low self-worth, not significance. This is also the significance that a person, a career, good health and finances play in your life. When any of these lose or diminish in significance to you, they become less important and you'll seek to replace them. 3. Love and connection. This comes under level 3 in the Maslow hierarchy. As humans, we all need to feel connected with ourselves and others to feel fulfilled and happy in life. As a whole session is devoted to love later in the course, it's only covered briefly here. The love and connection that we're talking about is not restricted to romantic love, but extends to all human interaction. It's a kind of love to have your work appreciated. Love from and for your family is another obvious example. Then there is the friendship love with close friends and colleagues. There is the love of work, of certain social, sporting or health pursuits, and the love of certain activities and pastimes. The most obvious is the love of self, without which no other form of true love will exist for very long. Suffice to say at this point that it is a basic human need to love and connect in life, both with yourself and others. 4. Personal growth. A level 5 Maslow need. It's said that everything alive is either growing or dying. Regardless of how much money you have, how well you are appreciated by others, or what you have acquired, achieved or accomplished, if you do not feel that you are growing, in general, you'll feel unhappy and unfulfilled. 5. Human contribution. This is a level 5 Maslow need. So many of us in life fall into the trap of allowing others or circumstances to direct our path in life. In doing this, we're at the mercy of those external factors, of other people and events. Making effective contribution in our own lives and those of others is an essential prerequisite of a happy, joyful, fulfilled life. If we do not contribute in the key areas of our life, it may be because we do not have what is needed to do so. For example, if we do not love ourselves, we cannot properly love another. We cannot give to others something that we do not have ourselves. A happy balance of contributing to yourself and others, especially selfless, unconditional contribution, is the ultimate secret to the joy and happiness many people seek in their lives. Contribution works both ways, both in the giving and the receiving. If the significant other in your relationship is consistently unable to contribute emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally or financially, you'll feel unfulfilled and unhappy. If your contribution is unappreciated, again, you'll feel unhappy and even resentful. In your career, if it fails to satisfy your needs, it's failing to contribute to your well-being and you'll feel dissatisfied and unfulfilled. Anything that fails to contribute in life to the degree that it provides the satisfactory meeting of your needs is eventually replaced by something or someone that will. Let's look at roles and areas. Having explored our human basic needs, let's now turn to those needs, how those needs fit into the roles we occupy within the specific areas of our lives. In particular, roles. Our roles are the relationships and the responsibilities we have in life. Very few people go through life without other people, family, friends, associates, colleagues, business contacts, customers and others. The relationships and responsibilities we have in those contacts with others are the roles that we occupy in life. The list of roles that we might occupy is endless. Think about your roles in life. Here are a few examples to get you started. There are roles that all of us must fill, whether we want to or not, such as daughter, son, mother, father, sister, member of the human race. Other roles from a much larger group that we occupy from choice and because of circumstances and experience life has presented us, such as a spouse, a partner, a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Role set is the term used to describe the variety of roles and relationships that you have as a result of your status in society. For instance, a school student interacts with a variety of different people as he goes through the school year, including teachers, guidance counsellors, the principal and the administrator, and his peers. His role set includes the different behaviours or roles he uses to meet the demands of this one social status of student. Everyone has a status set or a combination of many social statuses. Social statuses include our gender, our occupation, our ethnic group, our volunteer associations and hobbies. We can either choose to associate ourselves with a status such as an occupation, or we're born into one such as our ethnicity. So one person may have a status set that includes being a woman, a sales professional, a mother, a daughter, a sister, a person with European heritage and a volunteer tutor. Roles are the way that statuses get expressed. For instance, a person whose status in society is school student will behave in a particular way. This behaviour is the role the student is playing. Likewise, a sales professional will behave in a certain way, and a volunteer tutor in still another way. Each social status can be expressed through the roles that we act out. In 1957, the American sociologist Robert Merton made the term role set the topic of an article that he wrote for the British Journal of Sociology. Merton was specifically interested in the variety of ever-changing roles that a person plays when expressing a single social status. For instance, when a lawyer is involved in a lawyer-related activity, she changes her behaviour depending on the other person or people in the interaction. When talking with a judge, a lawyer will have one set of behaviours, compared with the role that she has when she's talking with a client that she's representing. Her status as lawyer includes more than one role. By describing this concept in a way others had not before, Merton opened the door for sociologists to look at the idea of roles more closely and have conversations about its importance. Our interest in these sessions is how the interaction of the roles we occupy and our perceived performance in those roles can affect our state of happiness. It's important to remember that you bring your own unique brand of life and personality to each of the roles that you fulfill. You are one of a kind. There is no one exactly the same as you on the planet. There never was and there never will be. Understanding your own uniqueness is an important step in the process of discovering who you really are, identifying and doing something about what matters most to you and makes you really happy. In addition to the more obvious ones, there is a broad range of roles covering the various activities that you're engaged in life. The work you do, the interests and the abilities you have. Identifying each and every one of your roles and what they bring to your life is an important part of your internal discovery process. Some of the roles that we occupy are obligatory. Some of them we've created for ourselves. Some of them will fulfill us. Others may drain us. So let's look at the areas. Closely connected to the roles that we occupy are the key areas of life that the roles fit into. Again, they are different and personal to each of us, some more or less applicable to the individual. Here are a few of the more obvious areas of life to consider. There are many other areas that consume the human existence. There may be others that occupy your life, not connected with those that I've mentioned here. As the 10 that you've seen on screen affect the majority of us to a greater or lesser extent, it's worth considering how each area has its own effect on the happiness present in your life. Family life. Most of us would agree that happiness within the family is important, and we tend to accept that family life should contain a healthy emphasis on loving, caring, nurturing and supporting. For most people, family life is where major challenges are faced. Family life can be a source of major stress, and you can be certain that any challenges faced in this area will have a knock-on effect in other areas of your life. Friendships. Without doubt, our human relationships with others contribute the majority of happiness and unhappiness we experience in our lives. For every happy or unhappy experience you'll have, there will usually be another person involved, or the lack of another person or persons in a significant area of your life, to influence the degree of happiness that you're enjoying or not enjoying. Home life. What makes a home happy is the people that are in it, the attitudes we come in the door with, and the simpler things that we can do to the space that we call home each time we're in it that doesn't cost a thing. Love life. This may apply to your spouse, your partner, your lover, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your children, your relatives, friends. In fact, any person or circumstances where you experience love on any level. For example, recognition and acknowledgement for a job well done, or support and assistance provided, is in itself a form of love. Don't restrict yourself to the person that you wake up next to. Leisure and social life. We have to relate to so many people, those we work and live with, those we meet out shopping in stores and banks, etc. What we're trying to get to here is how genuinely at ease you feel interacting with other people, how comfortable you are in different social situations. It's the broader picture of your interaction with other people that we're assessing here, not merely your pleasure gained from nights out with the girls or with the lads. Personal growth and attitude. One of the traits of those fortunate few who enjoy more happiness in life is that they commit themselves to the continuous process of learning and accepting the inner truths about themselves. The closed mind and know-it-all attitude has no place in the search for happiness. It's a form of denial that obstructs the path to inner peace. Some discover most about themselves through spiritual enlightenment, others simply by digging deep into why they respond and behave the way they do in certain situations. In the sessions that follow, there will be plenty of support to help you. But remember, your attitude determines your altitude. Without doubt, attitude is the single most influential factor on the path to happiness. The right attitude produces results you never imagined possible. The wrong attitude can produce nightmare situations. You choose your outcomes with your choice of attitude. You can be the architect of your own happy destiny or the author of your own misfortune. The choice is yours. When things go wrong, are you looking for solutions or fretting about the past that you can't change? So many people waste so much time worrying about the past they can't change and the events of tomorrow that might never materialise, that they miss the opportunity to do something positive today. Health. Your health is a crucial part of your happiness in life. So many of us take it for granted until we collapse with exhaustion, stress, or some other preventable condition. Do you take as much exercise as you need? Are you happy with your general level of fitness? Are you careful about your diet? Do you take enough rest? You'll discover that what follows in the coming sessions will guide you toward your general well-being and happiness and will have a positive effect in the area of your health. Career. It's said that 70% of the people in employment would rather be doing something completely different. Are you passionate about your career or choice? Does it light your candle or float your boat? Does it excite you? Are you feeling fulfilled? Do you have your career path all mapped out? Does it inspire your creative juices to flow? We spend more hours working than in any other area of our life, so it's natural that unhappiness, dissatisfaction or demotivation in this area will spill over, souring other areas of our lives. It's therefore vitally important that the career that you choose stimulates you and helps you to grow. Finances. We're not talking here about how wealthy or poor you are. It's not about how much money you have, but how you relate to it. Does it cause you so much stress that you worry yourself sick, or are you at ease with the flow of money? Money, or rather the lack of it, is a major cause of disharmony in relationships, and again can severely impede your path to true happiness in all the other areas of life. Spirituality. Spirituality exists for most people to some degree in their lives, either in faith, in an organised religion, or in their own perception and belief in a creator or deity. There are those that have absolutely no religious or spiritual beliefs at all. And if that's true of you, replace this section with something else that has significance for you. Your happiness resides in you. No matter how much you love, admire or respect someone, your own happiness cannot be found in them. It must be found within yourself. Of course, we all need the companionship and love of others, but it's our appreciation of them that brings us long-term happiness. If we love someone, it's human nature to expect that love to be returned. And it's often in this area that the major cause of dissatisfaction is found. Learning to appreciate that the love we feel for them is more important than receiving their love is a major step toward understanding that happiness within us is the only happiness that we can sustain indefinitely. The same can be said of material possessions. In this fast-moving world of consumerism and materialistic values, so many of us strive for the bigger house, the nicer car, the finer things in life. Now this is perfectly natural, but recall the last major purchase that you made, the initial thrill of owning the latest gadget, top-of-the-range car or beautiful detached home. How long did the excited feeling last before the item became part of your everyday furniture in your life? The true happiness that is the authentic you is totally independent of any material possession that you might have and any other person you might have regard for. Yet it does improve your experience of that possession or person. True happiness, happiness that lasts, is to be found within us, in the inner peace and contentment with our feelings of appreciation for ourselves and others. A major turning point in our lives occurs when we learn two key lessons. One, if we don't commit to achieving our own happiness, no one else will or can. If all we ever do is set out to make other people happy, our happiness is largely determined by their feelings, not our own. Focusing entirely on making others happy is a soul-destroying exercise that can only result in frustration, resentment and disappointment. And two, we can't give away what we don't have. We can't make someone else happy if we are steeped in self-misery. As Abraham Lincoln said, you can't help the poor by being one of them. We experience happiness when we are completely free from the negative and destructive emotions in life of fear, anger, doubt, guilt, resentment and worry. Only when we've identified the emotions that are obstructing our happiness can we focus on the work of eliminating or minimizing them in our lives. Could the key to true happiness in life really be that simple? The answer is most emphatically yes. A major obstacle in achieving the happiness that you deserve is to be found in your attachment to the negative people and situations that are causing it. It's important to understand at this point the difference between mind-based thinking and heart-based instinctive decisions. Our wonderful mind will work against us if we let it here. It will find no end of reasons to stay put, resist change and continue as you are. If we follow our mind on this, instead of providing the solutions to our problems, our mind will keep us trapped in the unhappiness surrounding them. The key to our true happiness lies in how we feel, not in our minds, where we think. We've explored the basic human needs, the roles some of us fulfill, and the areas of our lives those needs and roles occupy. Now it's time to bring them all together in a simple exercise that will reveal how well your human needs are currently being met in the key roles and areas of your life. The Wheel of Life exercise, sometimes known as the Life Balance Wheel, is one of the most powerful and versatile personal awareness and growth tools available. You may recall we saw the same process being applied in Lecture 2 for the Circle of Happiness. It's simple and easy to use and extremely flexible. You can use it to reveal your analysis of the areas that we've shown, or adapt it to almost every part of your life. An example might be to assess a relationship, breaking it down into the areas you consider most important and then scoring them to arrive at a more visual picture of your present position. You may choose to analyse the roles you occupy to reveal which bring you most and least satisfaction. The Wheel of Life is a popular visual tool to help you quickly understand how balanced or fulfilled your life is at the moment. It consists of 10 categories or areas considered important for a whole or balanced life. Score your level of satisfaction with each area. 0 at the centre, working outward to 10 at the circumference. Having plotted your score for each area, draw a line that joins the scores. This gives you an immediate overview of your current life balance. Crucially, the Life Wheel scoring system also allows you to see right away which areas of your life might need improvement. Pages 45 and 46 of the course transcript guide display the Wheel of Life, both in an example form and in a blank form. You'll find these in the guidebook that accompanies the course. A blank Wheel of Life is printed on page 46. You may want to copy the blank wheel so that you can complete it for yourself. You can see from the example on page 45 that the solid line joining the score representing the Wheel of Life on which your life currently rotates. Little wonder the emotional ride feels so bumpy. So if you then plot your ideal score for each area, you can see visually the gaps between where you are now and where you want to be. Not only does the wheel help you quickly assess your current levels of life balance, you can also use it to clarify priorities for goal setting. You can also use it for frequent life check-ins and to review and assess your progress. You should find the guidance notes on page 47 to 50 in the guide useful and helpful. Here are a few questions to prompt your thinking. Do you experience the correct balance of certainty and comfort alongside variety and spontaneity in each of the roles and areas in your life? Do your relationships and the people involved bring the correct balance to your life to result in the happiness that you're looking for? Does your career provide a comfortable mix of certainty and variety to fulfill you? Does a happy balance exist in each of your roles? Where is there a shortfall? Who or what causes it? Can it be remedied? Does the feeling of significance you experience from yourself and others in each area satisfy you? What part does significance and self-worth play in each area? Your self-esteem is an important part of your inner happiness and has a major effect on the key areas of your life. Again, look at the key areas and roles of your life and identify where the quality and quantity of the love given and received satisfy your needs or fall short. Are you experiencing personal growth in all the areas that will bring you happiness? Are the key people that surround you in your family, love, social and career lives supporting or obstructing your growth and development? Is there enough contribution in your life from yourself and others? Apply the need of contribution to your key areas and roles. How well does contribution fit into your life? Here are a few thoughts about the areas on the example wheel. Family. Whatever family life looks like for you, give yourself a score out of 10 to describe the degree of happiness or harmony you currently experience. 10 is absolutely perfect. 1 is on the verge of collapse. Consider your role and the roles of others carefully before writing it down. Make any notes you think are relevant regarding factors or people affecting the degree of happiness that you enjoy. Love. How much love is present in your life? Making whatever notes you feel are appropriate and relevant, score your situation out of 10 to describe the degree of happiness that love brings to you. Leisure. 10, you are the life and soul of the party. You are loved by everyone, you're confident, yet sensitive and caring to all that you meet. 1, surely not, unless you are locked away in solitary confinement somewhere. Growth and attitude. Ask yourself, am I committed to learning as much as I can about myself and life? Am I open to learning and stretching? Give yourself a score out of 10. Based on the level of happiness you gain from this area of your life, how happy are you with your attitude and the role you play in affecting positive change in your life? Are you a 10, the eternal realistic optimist? Or a 1, the suicidal pessimist? Surely not. They're all in solitary confinement too. Health. Are you truly a 10? 1 is clearly seriously ill. Score yourself based on how well you feel your role within the area of your personal health. Career. How do you fare in the working part of your life? Are you a 10 or looking for inspiration and confidence in this course to make that change? Finances. Are you completely at ease with the flow of money? Are you a 10? Or so worried about it that it's limiting your very existence? Spiritual. Is your spirituality central to your life, or are you experiencing doubt or guilt about your commitment in this area? Give yourself a mark. The wheel of life. The underlying theme of this session is that everything you'll ever need to be, have and do, whatever you want in life, including the desire for happiness, is to be found inside of you, and not in the physical presence of another person or in the material possessions that you may acquire, such as bigger houses or nicer cars. Your true happiness, the only happiness that is everlasting, is right there inside each and every one of you. You can customize the wheel and adapt it to whatever thorny problem that you're having. Grab a blank coaching wheel and add the 10 biggest things that are stressing you out right now. Score each one out of 10 to see how stressful each thing is, or label the 10 segments with the key things that make you a good mom or dad or leader or friend. Again, score yourself according to how well you think you're doing in each area. Then derive an action plan to move forwards. There are other uses of the wheel of life. Here are 12 questions to ask yourself. How do you feel about your life as you look at your wheel? Are there any surprises for you? How do you currently spend time in these areas? How would you like to spend time in these areas? What would make that area a score of 10? What would a score of 10 look like to you? Which of these categories would you most like to improve? How could you make space for these changes in your life? What help and support might you need from others to make changes and be more satisfied with your life? And what changes do you want to make first? What's the smallest step that you could take to get started? And if there was one key action that would begin to bring everything into balance, What would that be? There are awesome new ways to use the Wheel of Life. The Wheel of Life is a powerful tool and can be used in many different ways. In fact, it may just be the best and most flexible tool in your personal development and happiness toolbox. Here are a few examples. Number 1, the wheel of stress or wheel of frustration. List the top 10 areas that stress you out or frustrate you. Score each one out of 10 as to how much it adds to the stress in your life. Here's a tip. Ask yourself which area frustrates or stresses you out the most. Are there any surprises here? Could you lower your scores? What actions could you take? Number 2, the wheel of progress. When used on a regular basis, the Wheel of Life is an excellent tool to help you see how far that you've come. Use it monthly or quarterly as both a check-in to see how you're doing and a way for you to see how you've improved and grown. Improved scores demonstrate concrete value from the exercise and provide food for thought to help you see your learnings and progression. And as a tip, it's a bit like looking back over an old journal and seeing how far you've come. Number 3, the wheel of happiness. Fun or even excitement. Do you need help to create more happiness, fun or excitement in your life? Well, identify 10 areas or things that are fun or make you excited or happy. There are different ways to score this. You could score on how satisfied you are with each area, or how much each area excites you, or how much you want to do or feel drawn to each area. It depends on the labels that you've used. Then decide on an action or a commitment for each section. Ask yourself, how could you bring more of each segment into your life? 4, getting a deeper understanding of something. Use the wheel to drill down into each area and help understand your life and issues more deeply. Take one of the segments and write out a further 10 areas that make up that segment for you. For example, a financial wheel could include saving for a house, budgeting, focusing on buying needs and not wants, saving for a rainy day, paying off debts, getting a pay rise, etc. This is great homework to identify areas to put some work into. 5, the wheel of compassion. There are a few of us who couldn't do with more self-compassion. Ask for 10 areas where you could be more kind or compassionate with yourself. Score how compassionate you are currently and identify an action for the top 3 areas that need kindness or compassion most. 6, set more meaningful goals. The Wheel of Life is a great way to help when struggling to identify goals. Low scores point to areas where a goal could be identified to raise the score, and high scores suggest areas where a goal could really boost you and skyrocket your life. When we work on what we're already doing well, this spins off into other areas of our lives and lifts them too. This is great for business and career executives to ease clients into thinking about their personal lives, which we know will, of course, benefit their careers and businesses in the long run. The wheel of priorities. Label your top 10 priorities across work, home, relationships, basically the priorities in life overall. First, identify your top 3 priorities. Then score the satisfaction out of 10 for all 3. This approach can also be used to look at a specific area of life, for example, career, finances, or even to prioritize goals. What do you notice? How does the score for your top 3 priorities compare to the lower priorities? Do you have your priorities straight, or do you need to shift your focus? What actions could you take? The wheel of sales, or the wheel of marketing. A wheel can also be used and be helpful in business to help identify actions rather than identify and score areas to work on. So take a blank wheel and ask your business clients to identify their sales or marketing needs in the next month, or key actions to complete in the coming year. I recommend having a sales wheel and a marketing wheel, as although they are related, they are different disciplines. You could also pre-fill some of the wheel for them. So a marketing wheel might include social media, networking, advertising, workshops, a newsletter, and sales wheel might include clarifying a sales process or funnel, writing a script for complimentary sessions, calling inquiries back, creating an entry-level product, reading about sales. The skills and knowledge gap wheel. What are the top 10 skills and knowledge gaps that get in the way of that job promotion or new career that you're aiming for? Identify the gaps and then score out of 10 where you are on the road to filling this gap. Finally, identify action next steps for each gap. Tip: it helps to clarify whether each gap is a skill or a knowledge gap. And it's also important to do a sanity check that the gap is achievable and that it's a skill that you are able, or even that you want, to fill. General action planning. The visual wheel format is also great to make action planning more fun. So using a blank wheel, write the goal or required outcome at the top of the page. Then write out the next 10 actions or chunks of work that make up your goal. If you put a date against each action, you can then use the pieces of the pie to record the percentage complete for each area. Using a wheel is also a great way to break down bigger actions into smaller, more manageable chunks. The relationships wheel. List the 10 people that most energize or drain you, and then score how energized or drained you feel after spending time with each of them. What do you notice? What percentage of your time do you currently spend with each person? For the energizing person or people, you could ask how you could spend more time with them. And for the drainers, you could ask how you could spend less time with them, or change the way that you spend time with them. The finding love wheel. Our final suggestion is to help you identify what you're looking for in a relationship. Take a blank wheel and label the pieces of the pie with the 10 essential qualities your ideal partner would have. Then score how important out of 10 each quality is to you. This will help you identify which qualities are most valuable to you and to what extent. It's a good idea to set yourself this one as homework and think broadly about qualities that are really important in a life partner. And depending on your preferences, a few examples to start with might include good listener, kind, spiritual, or to get you thinking, you must think beyond tall, gorgeous, handsome, beautiful. As you've heard, you can use as many segments as you like on your wheel. You're not limited to using 10 segments, but it's easy to divide the wheel up in this way. Final tip: whatever you've used the wheel for, I like to ask the question when complete. So if this wheel represented my life, relationship, career, marketing strategy right now, is it a bumpy ride? And are there any immediate actions we can take to ensure a smoother journey? Thank you for watching this session on human needs. I hope you found it interesting and useful. In particular, I wish you all the very best with the Wheel of Life exercises that I've touched on here. And I hope that they help you on your path to increased happiness. Coming up in the next session, how did I get here? Learn about the 8 fascinating stages of human development and how your childhood conditioning and emotional programming could be affecting your happiness today. We will identify the influential events, choices and people in your life up to this point that have had a positive or negative effect on your happiness right now. Thank you.